Hey folks, Brendan here from Advanced Radio, but I'll take you through a full setup video with an AR Smooth Flite 16. This will be from connecting your servos all the way through to doing your gyro setup. So let's get started. Step 1, I have made a model in my radio. I'm using an FR Sky X20R at the moment, but it is compatible with any FR Sky radio that has S-Bus or S-Port connectivity. I have my two receivers set up. I'm using a TD-R10 here as my primary and a TD-MX as my secondary. Now to set these up, you do have to set them in the radio to output the S-Bus signal, as well as accept S-Port back in for the telemetry side of it. You can do this with either the TD-MX, the TD-R10, or any of the other receivers that do allow for S-Bus or S-Port connection. I also have with the TD-MX, besides my 3 wires, which is signal positive negative connected, I also have this connection here, and if you want to, you can run the telemetry out of the TD-MX style receiver as well. You just have to connect the R3 port, or the TEL port, sorry, to this green cable, or if you're using a full receiver like this, you set up one of the outputs to accept S-Port, and you plug it into there, and you'll get the downlink telemetry to your radio. And I'll demonstrate this in just a second. So step 1, you have your Smooth Flite here, and you have just pulled it out of the box, you're powering it up. What you do is you plug in your screen, you plug in your receivers. My receivers have become bound. I go into System page, I go into Receiver Protocol, and I go FR Sky S-Port. Wait for the system to reinitialize, and now you'll see that it'll come up with the FR Sky radio. If I go back into here, you'll also notice just briefly that the batteries have factory reset or reset back to 0. Every time you change the protocol on a Smooth Flite 16, it will do a factory reset for you, so it'll go back to its default settings. All right, now coming out of here, going into our receiver page, and if I hit reset now, you'll see that we're getting frames on R1 and R2, or Rec 1, Rec 2. Rec 1 being our TD-R10 and Rec 2 being our TD-MX, so we're getting good connection there. And I can prove this by going into the monitor page, and if I move my sticks here, you'll see that we're actually getting good connection and we are getting servo movement. Now none of these servos have been assigned, they are simply, this is the default routing. With the Smooth Flite 16, as of version 7.17 and on the Smooth Flite and 7.15 on the screen, all the outputs are routed 1-to-1. Now, I will go through what the servo I/O routing is in the next step, and I can demonstrate what that does and how you do it, and how you can actually use, although a lot of people are using a larger channel radio now, you can still use a Smooth Flite 16 or an ARXL with a smaller channel system and still get still get all of the servo outputs. So now that we've set up our receivers, we're going to go into our power page. Now this is our battery capacity milliamps counter, and what you do is you set this to the capacity of one of your packs. We assume that you are using matched packs. You don't have to, but it does make setup a little bit easier. And this is your battery capacity. So these, I'm using two 3K cells, so I'd set that to 3000 milliamps. This here is milliamps reset channel. So what you can do in the radio is you can set up a servo output, and when you hold that servo output down for, let's say, 10 seconds, the milliamp counters on the Smooth Flite will reset back to 100%. So what you do is you can set that, you just dial up the input channel from your radio, let's say it's channel 10, so I'll go through, dial it all the way up to 10, and now if this switch was on channel 10, if I flick it and hold it for 10 seconds, the counters on the Smooth Flite will go back to 0. For the battery capacity, meaning that you've charged your batteries, you're good to go, and the telemetry on your radio will also be reset. We also have the option of manually resetting our milliamps and manually resetting our flight counter as well. So I will just reset that back to 0. Done. Next, we're going to go into our servo routing page. Now in servo routing, I'll go through this really quickly, but if you read the screen, it'll tell you exactly what is happening on this page. What this is it says these outputs here, we've got 1 to 8, 9 to 16, match these 1 to 8, 9 to 16, and the transmitted channel we are looking at the moment is transmitted channel 1, which, if I can go into my outputs, is aileron. So if I plugged an aileron servo into SO1, it would be routed from SO1 or transmitted channel 1 to SO1. You'll also notice that this button is green and all of these other buttons are actually grey at the moment. Now what that means is the green one is assigned to the transmitted channel 1 from the radio, and all of these other buttons have been assigned to channels further up the channel count. So if I hit the plus button and go to transmitted channel number 2, you'll notice that SO1 has now gone grey because it's been assigned to transmitted channel 1, and SO2 has gone green. If we want to change this, what we can do is we can highlight one of the green buttons and it'll turn blue. Blue means available. So now if I go back to transmitted channel 1, this is still blue. If I select that there, I now have 2 servo outputs assigned, so SO1 and SO2 on this board, assigned to transmitted channel 1. And I believe this is, so that's my SO2 channel there, the rudder, and this is my SO1 channel there. What I'll do is I'll go through really quickly on the routing. I'll probably speed this part up and just route all the servos so that everything is going the correct direction. Okay, so what I've done is I've routed all my servo outputs, and I should have said this earlier, but when you're making a model for the Flite 16, keep it simple. It doesn't matter if it's got elevons or tail evaders or anything like that. What we recommend you do is have 2 outputs for your ailerons, so left and right, a single output for your rudder and steering, and a single output for your elevator, and that'll make the gyro routing so much simpler for you. So I've done that already. I've assigned my outputs, so I have my rudders, or my rudder here. I've got my 3 elevator servos. One is reversed, so I'll show you how to reverse that in a second. And my ailerons, and you'll see that one of these needs to be reversed as well. So once we're happy with the servo routing, we hit the save button, and that commits that all to memory in the Flite. I mentioned before that we can reverse outputs in the Flite or subtrim. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our servo adjust page, and I'll servo subtrim this one, which I think is channel 11. No. Okay, so we've adjusted all of our, or we've assigned. Okay, so we've assigned all of our outputs in the Flite, and we need to reverse them. There's 2 ways you can go about this. You can either go into your servo adjust page, and you can select the servo that you want to adjust. Let's say it's SO1, and I want to reverse it. I hit the reverse button. So now when I move my ailerons, you'll notice that they will follow the right direction. The other way of doing it is you can go into the monitor page, and these are actually your transmitter channels, as it says there, and it goes up to page 2, so up to 20 channels. And what you can do is you can go, well, my transmitter channel for my elevator is on channel 2. Select channel 2. You notice we've got receiver channel or transmitter channel, and then we've got assigned outputs 3, 9, and 11. So I know that this one is 3, and this one are 9 and 11. Now I have to reverse number 3, so I'll go into number 3, and we're back into the servo routing page. I can reverse that, and now we've got 3 elevator servos. Why do we have 3 elevator servos? Well, on this particular model here, we have 2 for standard, and then 1 for our thrust vectoring, which I can show you how to assign the gyro and how to get gyro boost to the thrust vectoring servos as well, if you want to do things like hover a jet. Alright, so now we've got our ailerons going the right way, we've got our elevators, and we've got our rudder. So everything seems to be working correctly. come out of there. Now I've noticed that one of my servos here, I actually need to sub-trim. With gyro controlled channels, what we do recommend you do is sub-trim it in the Smooth Flite. The sub-trimming is very easy. All I do is I find my aileron channel, which is channel 5. I'll go into channel 10 and I go into sub-trim and servo match. And you'll notice that as I move the stick, the colors light up. And what I want to do is I want to highlight the sub-trim page, the sub-trim button I should say, it'll turn blue, and then I can adjust my servo. You should see that moving there. So I adjusted that to -14, and if I want to, I can actually adjust the servo travel and the endpoints as well. You'll notice that as I move the stick, these bars will, or these buttons will go green text, which means this is the direction that I need to adjust for this stick direction. And as I go further over, this one actually turns red, which means we've hit our absolute servo limit. So if I want to make these servos be able to travel even further, we can do that just by highlighting this box and then increasing or decreasing the absolute servo limit. Again, really easy to do, guys. It's all built into the Smooth Flite. Coming out of here, going return, keep returning, and we're back to our main menu. Now, I'll show you the Smooth Flite setup, but before I do that, I want to show you the receiver page. This is where we set our failsafe. So what we do to set our failsafe is we go in here, we hit set failsafe, and these are our transmitter channels. We've got 1 to 10 here. And most people will do it on throttle. Let's say we want our throttle to be set to failsafe, which is our channel 3. If I highlight that bar there, you'll notice it will actually turn green. And when I move my throttle now, you'll see that that bar won't update, but all the other bars will. What that means is this is now the failsafe setup position. If I hit return, it'll show up a message saying, please make sure that you set up the failsafe in the Smooth Flite and not on your receivers, so that the Smooth Flite, when it gets the signal from the receivers, it'll know what to do. Failsafe has now been set, we're good to go. Now, the final step for this basic setup is to set up the gyro. Imagine we have everything adjusted, as we see here, where aileron's going the right way, elevator's going the right way, rudder's going the right way. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the gyro system. What we do is we go into the Smooth Flite page, we go into our, before we do the wizard, which is the next step, we actually go into our channel assignment page. Now this is where we tell the Smooth Flite what channels to look for on the gyro. Currently it's looking at aileron channel 2, but my first aileron channel is on channel 1. So all I do is I highlight that box, I go minus, so it's now on channel 1, and my aileron channel 2 is on 6. I've got it on channel 5, go minus, now we've got channel 5. My rudder is on channel 4, which is correct, and my elevator is on channel 2. So I press where it says elevator channel, I hit minus, and now it's on channel 2. So now we've told the Smooth Flite what channels to look for this particular setup so that it can accurately apply the gyro. Now we're going to go through the wizard. So we hit return, then we go wizard, we go yes. What type of model? Well, this looks like a turbine model, so we go into the turbine mode, we'll go next. How heavy is the model? We have it in pounds or kilos. So let's say, yeah, it's not particularly heavy, but it's not particularly light either. We'll go 16 kilos. Now, if it's a particularly large aircraft, you would actually do this calculation with about 50% fuel. So let's say it's a 25 kilo model. This calculation here, let's say you're carrying about 5-6 liters of fuel, you would add maybe 2 kilos onto that as well. Go next. Go OK. This is saying you need a master switch assigned on the radio. I've already gone ahead and done this. I've got this switch here, and it has to be a 3-position switch. The reason is with the Smooth Flite 16 and the Smooth Flite ARXL, the switch position is off, low gain, and high gain. So now what we do is we hit the next button, we flick our switch, and you'll notice it finds it automatically. So the system is looking for the channel that you move. Go next. This is saying we need to move the servos to their maximum range so we can tell the gyro, or teach the gyro the maximum range for the Smooth Flite. Now this should be done in high rates, I'll say that much. All right, now we're going to move our servos through their whole range. You'll see that they're actually updating the PWM value. We've got yaw there as well. Hit capture and hit next. Now this is asking where do we want our gyro. We want it on rudder, elevator, and aileron. None are selected at the moment, but if I press on the text or on the button, you'll see that the box will go blue. So we're good to go. Now we've got aileron, elevator, and rudder gyro. We'll go next. How are we mounting the unit? We're mounting it upright, forward to backwards. We do also allow you to mount it inverted and also side to side as well. We'll go next. We're the only gyro on the planet that has two different gyro modes. What does that mean? Well, we've got sports mode, which will feel quite transparent until your sticks are in the center. And we have smooth flight mode, which is more for scale models. It will make the plane feel a lot more locked in, but it'll also feel a little bit doughier, like you've got more expo on your sticks. So for most people, we recommend the sports mode because that will feel the best for a lot of models out there. Go next. You've now set up your gyro. You'll notice that the servos went did it to confirm, and your gyro should be set up. Now, if I have the gyro switched on to high gain, you may be able to actually hear the servos and see the servos moving. Okay. And the setup is done. What we recommend you do from now is to check your gyro directions are going the correct way. Let's say we have our ailerons and they're not quite going the right way to how we want. Well, then what we do is we go into our smooth flight page, we go into our aileron page, and you see that we've got an invert button there. If I want to invert the direction of the gyro, all I do is I select that button and you're good to go. Same for elevator, same for rudder. You'll also notice on this page here, we've got our gain settings. So we've got high gain and low gain. And high gain actually has green text. If I flick my switch back to middle, I've got low gain selected. And if I flick my switch back to off, I've got no green text here, which means no gyro, your gyro is off. If I want to adjust these numbers, it's exactly the same as everywhere else in the smooth flight. All you do is you highlight it and you increase the number. Our smooth flight system can go up to 200% gain for your standard settings, which if I move the smooth flight around now, you'll actually see is quite substantial. Okay, but I'm going to reset that back just for standard and come out of here, come out of there, come out of there. Now you've set up your gyro, you've set up your smooth flight, everything's going how you want, you've set up your fail-safe, your batteries, and you're good to go. In the next video, I'll actually go through some more advanced features on the smooth flight, such as crow and vector switching, as well as vector boost, and a couple of other little bits and pieces and hidden features. But that's how to set up the smooth flight 16 with every radio out there. The setup is exactly the same. It doesn't matter what radio you use, although I used FR Sky. The same setup will apply for Jetty as well as JR, Futaba, Spectrum, Multiplex, and a couple of other radios, and we can demonstrate that by going into the system page, going into receiver protocols, and these are all the protocols that we support. Now I wanted to show how to set up the telemetry in the radio. What you do with FR Sky is you hit the return button, you go down to where it says telemetry, which is here, and you say once you've got this up, you go discover new sensors, which I've already done, and you'll notice that all your telemetry values are there. So I've got the internal module for the 2.4 and the 900s, and then I've got battery 2, current 2, voltage, current 1, and a whole bunch of other little bits and pieces as well. So we give you the battery, voltage, capacity, and current for both batteries that are plugged into the smooth flight down on your radio, and that is standard for every radio out there. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos where I'll be taking you through the advanced features on the smooth flight 16. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked what you saw and want more information, you can head over to our website, boomerrc.com, or for the US site, us.boomerrc.com. If you want more videos, you can check out our Facebook page, Advanced Radio, or you can head over to our YouTube channel, Rick Gel Boomer RC. Thanks, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.